close enough to sever its umbilical cord with your blood boomerang, Sam? Recovered everything then. Great. Let's get it delivered. cargo won't last long at this rate, Sam. Handle it with greater care, please.
Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Hope. Good morning. Hey. From my mind, bring me to the morning time. I hear angels, and you are mine. Awaken your sweet harmony, where everything is fine, everything is fine. Keepers of the sky, some souls are just meant to fly. Keepers of the sky, some souls are just meant to fly. Hear your songs and feel alive. Hope is always their love. Don't let it pass you by. Keepers of the sky. Some
Good day, Sam. Drawbridge credentials verified. Welcome, Sam.
Security measures lifted. Weapons detected. Be advised that usage is restricted inside facility grounds.
Access the
Risking your life to cross snowy mountains is a lot to ask of anyone. And rubbing shoulders with BTs to recover someone else's stuff, that's going above and beyond. You're one hell of a guy, seriously. Sit tight. I'll confirm the contents of your cargo right away. This cargo is in pretty lousy condition, isn't it? But that's to be expected given the circumstances. There's no denying your incredible skill, and I really can't thank you enough. I'd like you to put this shelter on the chiral network.
Now displaying your current porter grade.
And now I'm finally online. Accordingly, I was able to analyze the cargo you just dropped off. Seems it was developed with the aid of an unknown technology, which I've taken to calling ghost tech. From what I can tell, it reacts to chiral radiation on a specific wavelength. The reason I mention it is because the chiral shock cannon data I shared with you is the product of research that leverages this principle. The chiral radiation it generates can pass through objects without destroying them. Practically speaking, this means you can incapacitate enemies hiding behind walls and such. It should also deal damage to BTs and mechs as well. It's pretty powerful as far as ranged weapons go. You can't use it without anchoring it to the ground first, though. Makes a lot of noise, too. Gotta think before you fire. You know, even I've heard stories about Higgs and his plans. So if the chiral shock cannon helps you stop him, that'll make my day. And if you can deliver my research data to South Fort Knott, you should be able to get some new and improved tech to help you out. There's a lot of other folks on this mountain doing specialized research. If you bring them onto the chiral network too, I'm sure they'll hook you up with all kinds of goodies. Thanks again. You've been a big help. Definitely couldn't have managed this on my own. I'm still concerned about the armed survivalists to the south of here, not to mention Higgs and his future plans. So I'll be rooting for you to keep on doing what you can to make things better for us all. I don't know if I can come up with anything else to help with that, but I'm willing to give it a try. Your support would be appreciated too. Anyway, I'm prepping some cargo I'd like taken to South Fort Knott. You're headed that way, right? Be warned that this cargo can explode if handled improperly, and should be considered extremely dangerous. So if and when you take this main order, handle it with the utmost care. Good luck with everything. I'll see you around.
Sam, apologies for the sudden call. Once again, I'm contacting you via our dedicated private line. No one else will be able to listen in on our conversation. I'll get to the point. Has Charlie ever behaved in a manner you felt was suspicious? I ask because his credibility, as routinely calculated by APAS, appears to have dropped sharply. Despite attempting to confirm his credentials via the UCA's National ID Registry, it does not appear anyone has ever actually met the man. It may well be the case that he does not even exist. A ghost, so to speak. I can only hope that my suspicions are unfounded. For now, Sam, proceed to South Fort Knott and put it on the chiral network as planned. It is imperative that we improve the DHV Magellan's capabilities to better contend with Higgs and his forces. And the sooner we connect all of Australia to the network, the better. When you are ready to proceed, you can pick up your next main order from the delivery terminal at this facility.
Sam, we should stay focused on our primary mission. To that end, you should pick up the next main order from the Phantom Smith's delivery terminal.
Unable to obtain additional data from the DHV Magellan. Updating information with data from within chiral network coverage only.
You're mine.
The silent, faulty feeling
hazardous materials notwithstanding, I see you got here in a timely fashion. At one moment, while I confirm the cargo's condition. No damage to speak of? Thank you for transporting my cargo with care. Well now, this was not a delivery I was expecting you to bring to my door. I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough thanks to you. Let's both continue to give it our all. Go ahead and connect your Cupid.
Now displaying your current porter grade.
On the network at last, eh? I've been waiting for this moment for so very long. This should enable me to increase the pace of my research into new defensive solutions. As for the cargo you brought me, it's the culmination of the Phantom Smith's recent efforts. I applied a few finishing touches, and voila! I can now share with you the data for a chiral cannon. It is a devastatingly powerful weapon that can be mounted onto pickup off-roaders. You'll find it deals unparalleled damage to BTs as well as ghost mechs. Which might come in handy, since it's not just armed survivalists that have been sighted recently. It's ghost mechs too. It's hard to say, but Higgs might be up to something. So that's all the more reason to have weapons suited to dealing with his minions. Ideally, this cannon would only be effective against BTs and mechs. Unfortunately, though, such firepower is more than enough to kill any human outright, so please use it wisely. In addition, I'm happy to share some new pickup off-roader tires that will significantly improve its traction. You can swap them in and out as you like when customizing your vehicles. I highly recommend using these if you're planning to tackle a snow-covered mountain. Thank you again for your help. I'll be sure to continue my research into ghost technology in the days ahead. I intend to look into ways of ensuring we have greater freedom of movement with our vehicles, even in dangerous areas. Any assistance you can provide would be greatly appreciated. Oh, before you go, I have a parting gift for you. A gift I was instructed to give you by my mentor. This cargo will allow you to enhance the DHV Magellan's weaponry, per Tarman's request, I believe. I'll need some time to prepare it for transport, though. In the meantime, please avail yourself of the private room here. I'll be sure to post the order by the time you wake up. So, go on and have a good nap.
Sam, it's me. Our enemies have grown bolder and more aggressive, but I see you were all able to fend them off in the end. Chiral network coverage now stands in excess of 85% across Australia. We are already seeing indications of plate gate formation in the near future as well. Just a bit more, Sam. I know you and your comrades will finish what we've started, and to prepare for what's to come. I encourage you to rest in your private room. Be advised, Sam, that I've switched this call to private mode. We need to talk about Charlie. I reviewed the contract between APAC and Drawbridge and followed the money. By doing so, I was able to confirm that funding for Drawbridge was provided by none other than Bridges. Though they used intermediaries to obfuscate the transactions, Bridget is undoubtedly the source of your patrons' funds. In other words, Drawbridge cannot be considered as an independent civilian organization. Should these details come to light, your attempts to integrate Mexico and Australia into the chiral network could be misconstrued as an expansionist effort. When I tasked Drawbridge with these missions, it was under the assumption that it was a non-government operation. But I, APAC, and you yourselves may have all been deceived. I will continue to pursue this investigation for now. Take this time to rest and recover in your private room.
Administering shock. Stand clear.
Just like old times.
Where are we?
This place does wonders for my mood. The repairs to the DHV Magellan are still ongoing, so I thought to return here and see if I couldn't make progress with our Lou investigation.
Learn anything new?
Well, at the Motherhood's facility, we managed to confirm that Lou's original serial number was none other than BB00. And this is what I found when I attempted to search for associated records. To build the chiral network, 9 sacrificial BBs were prepared. However, the network's original design required only 1. A single sacrificial BB unit, facilitating chiral communications across the entire North American continent. This approach called for what was dubbed a core bridge baby, and BB00 was a lucky candidate assigned to play this role. However, Bridges subsequently abandoned the idea, their tests having failed to yield the desired results. And so it was that the model requiring multiple sacrificial BBs was ultimately adopted.
Meanwhile, Lou was placed into storage for an extended period, and for reasons yet unknown, inherited the identity of BB-28.
Records indicate that the Bridges research team was responsible for the reclassification.
Were they trying to cover up the earlier experiments by falsifying Lou's production year, perhaps? Or did Bridges have some other hidden agenda?
I'm afraid that remains unclear.
Well, we now know Lou was born 11 years ago. There may very well have been a connection with Neil.
You know, my fondness for this place isn't wholly nostalgic. It has the most delightful hot springs, you see. Though, truth be told, even they aren't my favorite thing about it. If you can find the time, you should come visit. Give the old bones a soak.
Oh, a warm bath does sound good.
Perfect treat for a weary traveler. Anyway, I'll see you aboard the Magellan.
you read me, Sam? This is Tarman. I've relocated my hand at last, out there on the currents, bobbing along like before. Now that our connection has been re-established, I should finally be in a position to wrap up repairs on the ship. But that won't be enough for what's coming. We need to improve our weaponry as well. South Fort Knot is home to an exceptional researcher. It so happens that they were instrumental in the construction of this fine vessel, and they're preparing the latest and greatest weapons for our use as we speak. Just a few more hurdles, Sam. Access the South Fort Knot delivery terminal and take care of the main order for me.
Hello, Sam. Feeling rested and refreshed? I finished preparing your next delivery for you. The equipment to enhance the DHV Magellan's weaponry. You'll find it utilizes cutting-edge technology, the fruits of our recent research. Oh, and my mentor also asked that you deliver a hearty good day to Tarman. Anyway, take on the main order and pick up the cargo.
Sam, you'll forgive me for using our private line again. I did a deep dive into the DHV Magellan's provenance. While it is indeed a civilian vessel that has been retrofitted for this mission, the financing for that work appears to have come from Bridget's own accounts, just like the funding for Drawbridge itself. It would be fair to say that this would make it a government vessel, in effect. Charlie was involved in all of the relevant transactions as well. This only increases the likelihood that Charlie has connections to the UCA. Of course, it now seems likely that Charlie does not exist. In which case, these actions may have actually been the work of APAC. If everything, including the extension of network infrastructure, was simply a pretext for territorial expansion, then it's plain our company has made a grave error. Further investigation is warranted, but that will require a little more time, as will the DHV Magellan's repairs, for that matter. This is a delicate situation that requires caution, and we cannot afford to ignore the threat that Higgs poses either. As such, your best course of action is to continue to undertake main orders and prioritize linking up the remainder of the continent. As always, I will contact you if and when I learn more. Don't let us down, Sam.
is away on the beach, so I've taken the liberty of borrowing his Ha again in his absence. I've also been making use of my own time on the beach to scour the UCA database for answers about BB00. As I told you before, it's much easier to get around their security from here. We previously thought that BB00 was placed into storage and reclassified as BB28, and that this was done by Bridges to conceal the existence of the Cord Bridge Baby program from the public. However, it turns out that information was falsified, and now we know what really happened. Bridges intended to decommission and dispose of BB00, but someone intervened behind the scenes. They ensured that BB00 was spared and sent to a storage facility where it received the BB28 serial number. Per the official records, however, BB00 was decommissioned, and Bridges had no reason to believe otherwise. So, who do you think was behind this deception? Well, I determined which account was used to manipulate the BB records. It was registered to a Bridges member with the highest level access permissions. As you may have guessed, Sam, it was the leader of the first expedition, Amelie. And she did it all just to protect Lou.
It was Amelie. I can't believe she went to such lengths. It was thanks to her that you could even meet Lou in the first place then. Sense them, Sam. Be on your guard for